So oftentimes I have people who visit my home, sometimes the Jehovah's Witnesses, and sometimes of late the Mormons have been visiting with me, which is a wonderful thing. Really, really beautiful, really nice ladies who come to the house to talk to me. And this particular time they came and I wasn't at home, and they left a little card at my door because they had permission to come. They had texted me and says, Vivian, we want to stop by. And I said to them, well, I'm on the road. I won't be home until a certain time. They said, no problem. So they left a little card at my door. And on that card, which had a beautiful picture of the Mormon church, I think it was a Mormon church, a beautiful, beautiful tabernacle. And on that card, it had 4 questions. And these are questions I guess I'm supposed to ask, think about. The first question was, they was asking, what is the purpose of life? Second question was, what is the nature of God? The third question was, can families be together forever? And the fourth question was, where do we go after this life? I'm like, oh my goodness, what wonderful questions, I thought. And I picked these questions up, the card off the door when I came home. And I quickly sent the girls who left the card a text. And I said to them, I will be delighted to answer these questions for you. In fact, I'm going to write out my response and I will post it so that you can check it out. And the ladies were very, very excited and said to me in the text message, oh, Vivian, we're very excited. We look forward to hearing your response to that question, or to those questions. And I says, well, stay tuned and I will do that. So when I got to writing the answer to the questions, I went back to this model about me, my soul, and who that which we call God is, and my relationship to others, because families is about others. And I decided, you know what, I will take one question at a time because there was so much I could cover in each of those questions, but yet I wanted to keep it very simple. So the first question I decided to deal with was I wanted to talk about the purpose of life and what life was all about. And in order to answer that question about the purpose of life, another way of asking about the purpose of life is really asking, well, why am I here on this planet? And how did I get here? Was I an accident or a product of the union between my mother and father, or between a man and a woman? How did I get here? Was it, was just some random, accident? And the answer to that question, of course, it's not random. No, you came here on purpose. You're not just a byproduct of the union of a man and a woman. In fact, the way I answer this question is that we came here for 3 reasons. I call them the 3 L's. The letter L came here for 3 reasons. The letter L. The first reason you came here is you came here to live. L-I-V-E. L-I-V-E. You came to experience this thing that you call life. The concept of who and what God is, and people understand that this concept of God is that God is not a physical entity. God is, my teaching is that God is a spirit. God is a non-physical entity. Some people in cultures call God consciousness, okay? But whatever you choose to call it, God is not physical. The other aspect of God is that we have learned that God is the pure expression of what love is, unconditional love. I say that, yes, I understand that God is love, but because God is a spirit, the only way God can experience that which God is, the aspect of love, is through us, the physical human beings. And that's one of the reasons why we have emotions. But that's another discussion. We'll talk about that later. But let's get back to this aspect of living. And that is, you came here to live this life, to experience the deliciousness of living life in a physical body, to breathe the air, to know what it feels like to take in oxygen into your lungs and to express it, to lean against a tree, to feel the energy of the planet, to eat food, to just be alive. And I have an old saying I think I heard an older person say this, and that is this: any day above ground is a really good day. So it doesn't matter what your condition is in, whether you are physically well, or if you're physically ill, or you're having a really good time on planet Earth, which is nice if you were, or you don't like your job. The fact that you are alive and you're living, the first L, is the reason why you came here. And we'll talk about how you can change that and learn to live life deliciously and abundantly. The other reason you came here is to love. To love freely and fully. To love unconditionally. There's a scripture that I've read, and this is not to get religious on anybody, but since my background and upbringing has been in a religious aspect, I learned this. And I can't remember exactly what the scripture is. And the scripture goes like this, is that it says, love your neighbor. Here's this other person again. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Now, you must understand that before you can love your neighbor, you got to love yourself. And the thing about loving yourself is that you must learn to love yourself unconditionally. Now, what does that mean, Vivian? That means you love yourself. You find things to appreciate about who you are. You celebrate your uniqueness as an individual. You find things that you like about yourself that you can genuinely appreciate, that you can be open and accepting of who you are and where you are. Because I have learned this. When you learn to appreciate yourself unconditionally, you will do nothing to hurt yourself or to harm yourself. Okay? And as a consequence, you will therefore do nothing to harm the other person. So you came here to live and to love. And the last reason you came here, which is to me one of the most, they're all wonderful, but this is really, really about your life's purpose and why you're here. And that is to leave a legacy, to leave the planet in a better place than where you found it. You take your uniqueness of life, find out what your talents are, and you take those talents and express them, lining up with the love that's in you, and then you not only will leave an impact on the world and a legacy on the world, you will have made yourself, expanded yourself, who you are as a human being, and your soul part of you would have expanded, and you will leave the planet in a much better place than before you found it. So, what is the purpose of life? It's three things: to live, to love, and to leave a legacy. That's why you're here. You're not an accident. You're not at the mercy of your circumstances in life. You do have the power to change your life. Just as Samai said early that, and I actually said in the previous presentation, that being the change that you want to see in the world, you got to change your heart first. Be willing to do that. And in the course of doing that, you will change the world.